Greetings, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. First thing I want to say is I'm sorry for the delay. I've had to make a sojourn to confer with Apollo. I am the Oracle, and every now and again we have to touch base, and that entitled, a bit of a journey. But we're back, and we have plenty of things to impart to you today. A couple things. I want to talk about SI users. I've had some run-ins, and that's a can of worms. But before we get into that, I wanted to point out an idea that I've been contemplating a lot that might be helpful to you as well, and that is that adversity is opportunity in disguise. Okay? We don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I don't want to struggle. But the fact of the matter is that many times the things that aren't going right for us, that aren't lining up with our goals and aspirations, um, are probably pointing us to a place where we need to go and to things that we will manifest later on in the future. Not that everyone's life is always going to be roses at the end, or even at certain points, but I am an optimist. I tend to believe that the universe does want good things for us, but not just free of charge, not just gratis. We have to work for them. We have to struggle, and opportunity is always going to be a manifestation of adversity. So just write that down. That's what you would call a reframe. You know, a reframe you might not be thinking about, because you could just be going, oh man, that sucks. Well, so and so's in my way, and I want this to happen. I want more money. I want more recognition. I want more power. I don't think the power thing's so much an INFJ thing. I don't think we crave it. Not most of us. In fact, I guess that would be your evil INFJ villain stereotype, right? Who craves power? But even there, is it power for its own sake? Power because they enjoy bossing people around and coming up with things they think they should be doing? No, I don't think so. I think it's more as a result of being pushed around and not getting their ideas and agenda put forward, so they might flip over into the dark side. So all that said, I just wanted to get that out there because I think that is valuable and that could help someone else. And if you can remember it when you're struggling. Okay, so SI users, Mrs. Dragon is an INFP, and they have SI. And you know what? In the case of Mrs. Dragon and it's never been a source of conflict. Obviously, she's different, but I think because of the intuition and feeling thing we have in common, there's a lot more grace. And also, in her case, it's in her tertiary position. That's the introverted sensing, right? And I thought of another, and she's got a great balance there. So no, this is not directed at INFPs. This is more so directed at what I think is the ESFJs. Now, I've been having some interactions with some, and we get on okay, but I have noticed that while the feeling component seemed really like something we had majorly in common, that extroverted feeling. I don't know for a fact, by the way, that this person is an ESFJ, but I'd say I'm 85 to 90% sure after working through it with one of my assistants. And it really made a lot of things clear to me, because in my interactions with this ESFJ, there's a lot of good, warm feelings there, but underneath it, there's a bit of a hardness. And your average INFJ, I don't think we're very hard. We are, just like in a previous video, I don't think we're like the most passionate people. We are enthused. We are into what we're doing. But if you've known truly, truly passionate people, now you could be a passionate INFJ, maybe, I don't know. But this is the thing, we have a certain amount of grace, I think, with how we handle and comport ourselves, but and go after achieving our goals, which many times are of a philosophical bent or an artistic bent, or we're looking at ideals that might raise all of humanity up. That sort of thing, I think, is what interests us most. So, um, we're not very hard. I don't think we are. And what I was noticing with this ESFJ is that all the communication is really warm, but underneath there's a hardness. And just looking into it, apparently ESFJs are known as the providers, and they're very much about making sure that things in the real world are maintained, which is a lot of that sensor thing. And, be honest with you as well, and you probably could be honest back. Sensing, be sensor types, we know how to deal with them, but it's kind of in a offhand or sideways manner, because at a deep fundamental level, I mean, unless your extroverted sensing is right on the edge, to where if you'd gone just a little further with it, you wouldn't even be an INFJ. It's a weak function, and it's when we don't use in the 100% unconscious manner, but it's in a support role. It's not driving the ship. And that is extroverted sensing too. That's not introverted sensing. And to me, introverted sensing, I thought of another way. Self-interested was another way I thought you could phrase that, right? Interested in yourself and your aims, goals, and desires, and who isn't? I'm not saying that that makes them different or special, but I think that makes what it is that they want to get done in the world a priority to them. And I think that their interface with reality is far more concrete than ours. That's, I think, one thing that would distinguish a sensor type from an intuitive type. Now, I had the good fortune of having a student who was introverted. She was an ISFJ, and we had so many things in common. But a lot of times I would tell her some of my ideas about things, and she would just think, "Oh, you're just imagining things, or you're just a conspiracy theorist, or you don't really know that's true, etc., so on and so forth." So I think one of the things that, especially um, your straight up sensor types that aren't intuitive at all, like I said, my Mrs. Dragon is an INFP. She's an intuitive feeler, right? Who has sensing, self-sensing as one of her functions. It's not driving the ship. I really very much get the sense with the ESFJ and the ISFJ that that is not the case. The sensing function is defining their approach to reality. They want facts, they want results. They will protect what they think needs to be protected. And I'm not saying that your average INFJ wouldn't do that too, especially say if you're, a parent or you're working in an organization and you're some sort of manager or supervisor. Your job is to look after things and make sure things are copacetic and everything's going to move forward in a good way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this, it's more at a deep fundamental level. And I can tell you that in my interactions with this ESFJ, we're doing some business together, that I have engaged with some help from one of my assistants in my communications with this person, because a lot of times I feel a little off balance, right? And it took me a while. At first, I thought maybe they were an ENFJ, but I know I know a few ENFJs, and they don't have that kind of hard thing going. So I was able to arrive at the ESFJ, and last thing I want to say here is they're not going to be into your philosophical diatribe. They're not going to be into your intuitions. So you probably just want to put the emphasis on that groovy feeling component and rock and roll from there. Anyway, that's it for today, INFJ. I may be back tomorrow to try and make up the difference. We'll see. Until I do, though, keep on keeping on.